I would like to welcome you to the upper echelon. I want you to be honest and don't you lie. Don't you think of lying. Be for real. You're not a Bud Crawford fan. You just hate Spence, right?
The truth. You can't handle the truth.
Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top.
Thoughts on the big fight next weekend, Spence and Garcia? Mikey's moving up like you did it to fight Hagler. Can he win that fight? How do you see that fight happening?
Yes. You ask him. I guarantee you he'll tell you he will win that fight. What I found was I moved up in weight sometimes. There was a deficit. The guys are stronger, bigger, they hit harder, and what have you. And when I did that, I realized that I should not try to be heavy, but maintain my speed. Because speed is what nullifies everything. But that's a good question. Thanks.
What kind of do you have to? So you have to adjust your style when you move up. How?
Not necessarily adjust your style. Just be the fighter that you are, and utilize that. But for me, speed has always been essential. Speed has always been that magic thing, that's the most valuable asset, and I used it to my advantage.
In the end, who do you pick to win the fight, though, if you were to pick a winner?
I don't ever kind of pick the winner of a fight, especially in this platform here. If you're talking about me, if you say, Ray, who's gonna win a fight between you and so-and-so, I'll say me.
Okay, I gotta do this. Mikey,
I'll be disappointed if it's not.
Mikey Spence coming up in 2 weeks.
Mikey.
Why?
You know what? Because he's Mikey. That's simple. It speaks for itself. They say boxing is dead. Boxing is not dead. With all these incredible matchups, these fights coming up, about to happen.
Wilder, Johnson.
Wait, what? Who say what? Who smacked who? You pick what? You say who? Come on, sugar. You are all-time great. First ballot Hall of Famer. I know you have an eye for boxing. Picking Mikey over Spence? Come on now, sugar. What's the problem? What's the holdup? What are you trying to prove, sugar? But see, I ain't gonna come at you full tilt like that, sugar, because you kind of respectful with it, even though you're being disrespectful. See, you disrespecting Spence respectful, but it kills me because fighters like Mikey Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican fan base are one of the greatest fan bases in all of boxing. I have to give a shout out to the Latin Americans and y'all fan base because y'all ride or die with y'all fighters. Y'all go out there, y'all support them from rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Y'all fighters could be going against the abominable snowman. Y'all gonna be right there like, yes, he can do it. He can do it. Y'all have faith. Y'all ride hard behind y'all fighters, and I respect that. I envy that, to be honest. Just like British fighters. Man, you can't say nothing bad about a British fighter without having 1,000 of his countrymen coming behind y'all. Yes, English people do not play about their fighters. At one time, you get your head cut off about Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Lennox Lewis, or Superman Joe Kawasaki. And what make the English great, it ain't about the skin color. They do not care which color their skin or their boxer is. It's the fact that they're from England and they're gonna root with him until the wheels fall off. But us as Americans, we don't do that. And it's sad to see because Spence, he laced up him gloves and them shoes for us. He fought in the Olympics for us. He had USA on his back. And he went out there, faced controversy, got robbed, got cheated for us, and still kept persevering and cheering and going through and doing what he had to do, digging in through all the grit and the grime, all the lonely nights of putting in that hard work, because boxing is not an easy thing to do. It is a very lonely thing. You have to be strong mentally as well as physically, and you gotta put in that work. Because if you don't put in that work, when it's time to show, it's gonna show whether you put in enough or you didn't put in enough. And he got cheated, got the silver medal though, which is great because it's one step down. Everybody knew there was controversy, but then he comes back He puts on a great show for us, a great performance. He fights who he says he's gonna fight. He sits there and cleans up a whole side of the street, and every step of the way, he's getting ostracized, and they're picking against him, and they're doubting his display of his skills. Like, I don't get it. Like, come on now. You sit there, Sugar Ray, you sit there talking about it's all about speed. Okay, no, Sugar Ray, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's about timing. It is about timing. You should know about it because Marvin Hagler started to time you. All your great speed. It was nullified because he caught your timing down. Just like Zab Superman Judah was caught by Costa Zoo because he got his timing down. And then the fighter that you're actually picking, Mikey Garcia, because it's Mikey. He's not a speedy fighter. He's down for timing. He's a counterpuncher. So you just went against what you just said, like you just contradicted yourself. You pick Mikey, then you talking about speed is everything, but Mikey's a timing fighter. He's not a speedy fighter. He results off timing. He's not faster than Spence in nobody's America. Then you say because it's Mikey. Okay, I picked Earl because he's the truth. Yes, Mikey is great, don't get me wrong, a 4-division champion. First ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, he came up to 140. Yes, he's beaten Adrian Broner and Robert Easter. Yes. But this is Errol Spence. This is a whole different monster. A whole different beast. This is Thanos, the World Crusher. So how could you pick against Earl? Next time somebody asks you, don't say because it might be like it's Earl. Because it is Earl, because he is the truth. That's all you say, Sugar? Come on now, baby. You can do better than that, Sugar. Come on now. And he idolized you growing up. You was one of his favorite fighters.
That fight, hopefully we could see it, but network entities are preventing that fight from happening.
Well, you know, we fought each other, the Hearns, the Haggards, the Wayans, and what have you. We just didn't say we were the best, we fought the best. All those names you called off, Crawford, it just, those guys are so gifted, they're just so talented. That has to happen. I would be disappointed if those fights did take place.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the boxing fans, we was disappointed that you didn't give us Hagler versus Leonard Part 2 because that was a very controversial fight. And you know it, Sugar. You're not deaf. You're not blind. You seen the headlines. You heard the naysayers. You heard what people said. It clearly showed Hagler was doing the more damage, doing the more meaningful shots while you was doing that little shoe shine. Like you was sitting there doing little flurries at the end, which fight, and most of them was getting hit off the gloves and on the arms. But, you know, y'all had a referee in the pocket. You know, it's boxing. A lot of times it has that. It's always for the bigger name they do that. But you wouldn't even rematch the man. You ran, ducked, and hid and wouldn't want to give that man a rematch. And the same month that he retires, you come back. So you retired because you didn't want to do a rematch. So as soon as he retired, you come back and get you another fight in. Now if that ain't a duck, then it's a cock-picking goose. That's what I say.
I mean, I made big leaps, jumps. That is quite significant step up. If they feel they can win, go for it.
How do you see that fight playing out? Who do you think would win that fight?
You know, because of the size, it's just more than the size, and it's more than the strength.
I don't think it was Canelo.
It's more than Canelo's size and power versus Spence. Well, what else more is it? Because Spence has the faster hands and the faster feet. And I think Spence arguably throws harder shots than Canelo, if you want to be honest about it. Plus, Spence went in the doghouse with Floyd Mayweather, blacked his eye, and got kicked out. We seen what happened when Canelo went with Floyd Mayweather. 12 rounds couldn't even hurt the man. A complete wash, dry, folded up, and put back in the closet. That's what happened. As we seen in the past with Erislandy Lara and Floyd Mayweather, Spence has the style to nullify Canelo, just like Bivol. Spence has a monster jab. His jab is like a power shot. So Canelo will be sitting at the end of Spence's jab all night. And if he's not lucky, Spence is going to beat them innards up. and Spence has a high motor. Canelo cannot fight 12 rounds at Spence's pace. Spence will break him down quickly, and he would not be able to handle the onslaught or the quick foot speed or the hand speed of a young Errol Spence. That's why he ducked him for $55 million. Press 1. Shout out to Champ Side, because we're talking boxing, please. Yes, boxing. Spence is a boxer, a banger, a counterer, and a demolisher, all wrapped into one.
And Crawford.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Why do you keep picking against him? Like, why? What has he done to you? Like, you should see that your past predictions was wrong, and you should eat crow, and you should get this man his just dues. And like people saying that he doesn't have many tricks in the trick bag, what they fail to realize is, like I said before, he is an Olympian. So you have to box to be in the Olympics because it's a point system. And for him to get second place, he had to score and not be scored upon. It is a point system. What people don't remember is when he was fighting Lamont Peterson, he actually switched into orthodox. But I guess he remembered that the eyes are on me, so he switched back. What you don't realize is Spence hasn't even popped open his tool bag. I don't see a person at 147 that's gonna make him pop open his tool bag, because arguably nobody at 147 really will hurt him. Like Spence say, you will see his best characteristics at 154, 160, where he get up with people that hits harder, and the fights are that much more competitive. More bigger men where Earl just can't stand in front of them and duke it out, where he gonna have to be on his bike like Jermell Charlo does sometimes. How he can box or he can get it in. How he can box or bang. See, that's the way EJ would fight if somebody made him, but they haven't made him do that yet. But Sugar, maybe you just mad about something or trying to relive your past glory, but that's just like a man that got that afro that got a patch missing and want to hold on to it. Just let this shit go, man. Let it go. And you should embrace the new generation instead of hating on them. Don't get me wrong, you is an all-time great, but you've been proven wrong a few times in boxing, and it's catching up with you. Kind of like when you thought you could come back and still be the same old you, and went and fought Rico Suave, my man, Macho Camacho Jr., and he gave you the business. He showed you it was time for you to sit your ass down. And see, that's what I'm telling you now. If you ain't got something Earl worthy to say, don't say nothing at all, because you keep getting proved the same over and over. And why don't you just take a chance to sit back and look and see the skills that the man is displaying? Each fight, it's a different array of qualities each time. If you take the chance to sit there and look, instead of hate on the man's greatness, when he's sitting there a humble king, he's humble. That's why I don't understand where all this hate comes from, because he's such a likable person. I see if he was like my man Floyd, TBE, greatest of all time. He played the bad guy because he knew people were paid to see him lose. But Earl has not once been the bad guy in his career. If anything, he's a national hero for going across the seas and fighting for us. Just because a person boxing don't mean that they're not fighting. They're fighting for our country as well, for the honor and glory of America. And what we need to do as Americans is stand behind our proud warrior like they do in every other country. They stand behind their warrior. And that's what we need to do. Stand behind our warrior when they go out there, every time they lace them up for us, because they're fighting for us. And see, until we realize that, we're going to be divided, a nation divided. I don't care if it's black, white, Puerto Rican, and Spanish. We're all Americans, and we should all be cheering for this man. So let's give this man his just dues and treat him like a hero in which he is for our country, for America. We should all stand behind him and give thanks and the perseverance that he showed for us. Man down. Over 41 years ago, you and Hearns participated in one of the great biggest fights in sports history, boxing history, world history. And now we come to the eve of the same such thing as Earl the True Spence gets ready to go against Terrence Bud Crawford. Both of them are undefeated. Both of them are elite. Both of them are in their prime and they're ready. Somebody old must go. And we don't need y'all putting down one or the other. Let's talk about each one of their skills and saying what the other can't do and won't do. Because both of these are very capable fighters. And people want to downplay Earl, mostly the Hall of Famers, but Earl can do everything that Terrence can do. He has every knife in the butcher's block. Now, not being biased, but this is an uphill battle for Crawford because he has to go against a high-octane style that is relentless, and it comes with heavy devastation. Not saying that he can't do it, but it's damn near impossible. So if he does it, I'll call him Tom Cruise because it's Mission Impossible.